Hi everyone, welcome to the Sip and Spin. I am the Tipsy Spinster and this is a Sip and Spin Spotlight. As the holidays draw near, I thought it would be fun to talk a little bit about some additional products that you might want to consider for this holiday season. In my glass is my favorite holiday cocktail of the season. I'm calling it Sugar Cookie. For the recipe, please feel free to hop on over to my Instagram page where I have it featured a little bit more prominently. So today, I want to talk a little bit about Dreaming Robots and their Electric Eel Nano 2, which is in this box. I haven't opened the box yet, so I thought it would be fun to do an unboxing episode, which I have never done before. But before I do that, I wanted to talk a little bit about the company and some of the products that they have created up to this point. And I just did a quick check on their website. So as of this showing, the Nano 2, the Yarn Counter, and the EEW 6 are all available on the website. So when the company started in 2009, and it started with a wood-based e-spinner. And one of the things that I think is very cool about this company is the fact that all of the products launch on Kickstarter first. Now, the benefit with launching on Kickstarter first, you're able to get the funds up front in order to create the product and to offer those Kickstarter campaign backers a little bit of a discount before the actual retail version goes live. So, one of the first e-spinners that Maurice of Dreaming Robots created was this little guy, the EEW Mini. And this adorable little wheel was my entrance into the world of affordable e-spinners. And I loved that it came with everything that I needed to get started. Set up like a regular wheel, you've got your drive band, you've got your tension band, it came with the cords for both outlet and battery, came with 3 bobbins, and it all fit beautifully into this yarn bag, which I really liked, easy, portable, and it was my entrance into comfortably spinning cotton. These little wheels are fast and they like to spin thin. So there were a couple of other iterations. After this one, there was a bigger wood-based model, which I held off on. I wanted to wait and see what would happen. I was quite happy with this one. And then the Electric Eel Nano came out, and it's all the plastic, which is very cool. Now, I've embellished this so much. So when you get the Nano, and this was the first one, it came with the metal clamps and a battery was suggested, which I didn't get. I went with the bigger battery pack, which doesn't fit, which it pays to listen to what is recommended. Again, it's a fast spinner and I primarily spin cotton on it, but I have done some fun art yarn with it as well. And those episodes are available in my YouTube channel or on Instagram. For this one, it's the only wheel that I've ever named. So this wheel I actually named the Nautilus, and it fits perfectly into a Namaste train case. And I'm actually going to go ahead and pack it up in here because it is so wonderful. These yarn cases and yarn bags make perfect cases for carrying these little wheels around. My battery and all of my cords sit in there, the base, and then all of the goodies sit in here, and then my little rug to keep and to spin on, and it all closes down comfortably. I'm going to spin it around, so it actually has to go this way, and it is perfectly ready to travel. Likewise, that one. Then Maurice came out with the EEW 6, and this is a full-size spinning wheel, and it is absolutely amazing. It came with a foot pedal and tons of bobbins, and I've ordered more bobbins with it as well. And it fits perfectly into a Zuka bag, which I had never heard of. Again, this wheel came with the metal guides, but Joel of Snortimers Hub, and that's where I get all of my aftermarket add-ons. Joel designed these ceramic yarn guides, which I really like. Now the EEW6 I've also featured quite a lot on my YouTube channel. This is my Ravy wheel because I did all of the temporary tattoos in UV reactive light, so it glows under black light. Now before Maurice designed the Nano 2, he's also come up with a cone winder for quickly winding bobbins, and one of the other very unique and definitely warranted things that are needed in the industry, it's a yarn counter. Up to this point, the most affordable yarn counter that you could find was basically a fishing line gauge, and I'm going to be honest, while it worked occasionally, it wasn't very accurate. And then the next thing was an incredibly expensive one. Well, I don't sell my yarns and I don't own a yarn shop, so I couldn't justify spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars on a yarn counter. Maurice saw the need and he created the EEW yarn counter, and it's brilliant. It works perfectly. It clamps to the table, it comes with a yarn guide, and it's so intuitive and it's easy to use, and again, it's affordable. It was definitely something that the fiber arts industry and the spinners out there absolutely needed. So that was kind of a fun, quick retrospective and look back at what Maurice has created so far, the pieces that I have. There are other, if you join his Facebook page, a lot of other fiber artists have samples of all of his wheels as well. It's almost one of those things. Maurice has created a product that it's a little bit like spindles. You can't have just one, and it's just as much fun collecting all of them as it is to just have one because they are so incredibly affordable. It's brilliant. I'm going to clear off the table and then we will get to the unboxing of the EEW Nano 2. I'll be right back. All right, here we go. This is the unboxing of the Electric Eel Nano 2. So it comes in the box with the eel logo on it, which I really like. When we open the box, there is an instruction manual or a user manual, which is really nice. And one of the things I personally like, because as I'm getting older, it's getting harder for me to see the really tiny fine print. I love that everything is very, very clearly labeled. And this is so important in terms of out of box and getting it started. So the instruction manual is amazing. And it looks like we have a collection of bobbins. And one of the upgrades on the 2, which I really like, the bobbins are threaded, which that's really nice. In the first version, they just popped on, and some of the times those became a little bit loose. So I like that these are threaded. That's going to be really nice when it comes to putting a leader on here. And we have all of our cords, and it looks like an extra set of yarn guides and extra bands. So I have an extra drive band, I have an extra tensioning band, I have the plug for the outlet, and I have the plug with the switch, which is also one of the latest features on the Nano 2, the Nano version 2. We have an on-off switch, so I'm not going to have to be going back and forth with the on-off. Once I get the spin ratio set to where I want it, I'll just be able to turn it on and off. I've also got a couple spinner control cards, which are really nice. I like that they're 2 different colors. These are incredibly handy. I have found that I am using my spinner control cards more now that I have the electric wheels. And then out of the box, we have the little machine. And I'm going to set that over there. And the yarn guides just slide right on, which are nice. So once you get in and get started, you'll want to have one yarn guide up here and one sort of at the end of your arm in order to keep it balanced. And then the other one will be set up, one in front of the wheel and one ready for it to spin on. Now, I already know with as smooth as this is, I'm going to want to add a leader onto here that's going to be very secure. So I'm going to take this piece off, I'm going to take the bobbin off. I will unscrew the end that I want to secure the leader to. Oh, look! And I just so happen to have some yarn right here. So what I'm going to do is, this is very fine. This is just a simple 2-ply. It's very thin, it's not very thick. I don't want anything too thick, otherwise it's going to affect my balance. So I just want a very thin leader. And there are lots and lots of ways that you can put leaders onto your bobbin. I just like this one because you cannot get much more secure than screwing a piece of yarn into the bobbin itself. That's not going to go anywhere, and I know that it's going to wind on very quickly. So I'm going to put the bobbin back on the arm. It spins very freely. I will put the metal piece back on. Very easily slide it back in. Put my tensioning band on. Put my drive band on. Now when you put your drive band on, you want to make sure, oh, it did it for me. You want to make sure that it's around the pulley. I cannot tell you how many times I have forgotten that and become very frustrated because nothing is working. So make sure that your drive band is around your pulley. The pulley is firmly attached and secure. Your tension, you don't want your tension to be too tight or too loose. The other new feature on the Nano 2 is it has this lovely tensioning knob to make building your tension effortless. Up to this point on all of the other mini and nano versions, the drive band has just had knots, and we've done a lot of things. I've seen beads put on it. I've seen some people add the tension knob as an aftermarket type of thing. The Nano 2 has already had that put into place for you. All of the machines come with this lovely little orifice hook. Now, this one, I will definitely be putting a charm on here. Looking at this right out of the box, it looks so naked compared to some of my other wheels, and I've been thinking about the type of design that I am going to put on here and what kind of carrying case I'm going to use. I think I have something, so you'll have to stay tuned to see what I decide. There are a couple magnets with which to hold the hook, which is really very convenient. The other nice thing, there are suction cups now, and the suction cups come off. So I know that I'm going to be putting a battery case on here, so I'll probably be taking the suction cups off. But I did see a user traveling with these, and it's on the Dreaming Robots page, or the Electric Eel page. She actually had it attached to the window of her car and was spinning with it attached to the window, which was brilliant. I thought, that's the way to spin on the go. Next, I will be putting my cord in. I will be using a battery pack to demonstrate this. We have both the S and the Z options, and if you're curious about that, you've got your S twist, which is going to go this way, and your Z twist, which is going to go of course, the opposite direction. I typically always spin my singles as the Z twist, and then I ply the S direction. So I am going to plug this into the battery pack that I have. This is not the one, and I do want to be very clear, this is not the one that Maurice has recommended. It's a little bit bigger, but it still has the appropriate wattage. And I think that's probably one of the key pieces, is you have to make sure that you do not go over the recommended power supply, so you're not putting too much power into the wheel. So before I even get started spinning, I am going to make sure that, turn that on and see what it's like. So very smooth. Oh, this one is so much quieter. If you're a new spinner, I would recommend just putting a leader on and playing with that a little bit to get the feel of the wheel and to get used to the tension that you have, which right now I feel like my tension is absolutely perfect. Clue, if you're with these types of spinners, unlike a spinning wheel, the yarn should never be pulled out of your hand. You're almost going to want to feed it into the machine. The other thing that I want to point out, if you're a brand new spinner and you're going to be spinning thicker, you're going to want to remove the orifice reducer. And this very easily just pops out, and it gives you a much, much bigger area to work with for yarn to feed into and onto your bobbin. If your yarn gets stuck on here, chances are you're spinning too thick and you're not going to have take up. And I don't mean that in a negative way. There's no such thing as spinning too thick. What I'm saying is if you notice that it's not taking on or it's not feeding onto your bobbin, after you've made sure all of your other things are, if everything is set up right, but you just can't get it to feed onto your bobbin, take out the orifice reducer and see if that helps for you. So I'm going to leave that sitting there for just a second. As I said, I originally started my foray into e-spinners was because cotton is my nemesis. I wanted to spin cotton better, more evenly. I love cotton as a yarn, but spinning cotton on any of my support spindles or my treadle wheels was creating a huge amount of frustration. I didn't feel like I had enough control. When the Nanos came out, or when the e-spinners came out and they were in a price point that I could afford, I was finally able to experience some success with spinning cotton consistently. And so with that being said, I think these wheels are perfect for new spinners. I really do. And one of the main reasons why is that you can control the power. You've got both of your hands free and you can control how fast you are putting twist into the fiber and how quickly it's being fed onto the bobbin. So you have all of this time to get used to what is happening and to get used to the idea of putting twist into fiber. So with that being said, this episode is also going to take a look at cotton, which is my nemesis fiber. I still love the idea of cotton, but spinning it is a frustration. So let's talk a little bit about cotton. There are a number of different types of cotton, and I was gifted some Florida native cotton a while ago, and so I will show you that. So here are the seeds for the Florida native cotton, and here is the bowl. And as you can see, there are so many little tiny seeds in here, and there are lots of ways to remove the seeds. For me, I just like moving the cotton around and then pulling the seed out. This de-seeding cotton or ginning cotton, I found to be very therapeutic. It's something to do in front of the television set. It's another way to keep my hand out of the chips bag and to keep my hands busy. So once you clear out the seeds, and I need to, it's also kind of addictive. Once you start doing it, you don't want to stop. So once I cleared out some, I went ahead and used my cards. And so this is a hand-carded Rolag of the Florida native cotton, and I will be spinning that. I was also gifted some long staple length cotton from northern Arkansas. My daughter had some absolutely amazing teachers growing up, and one of her teachers posted a bouquet of cotton that she and her husband got for their anniversary. I immediately reached out to her and said, "Hey, what are you going to do with that cotton when you are done enjoying it in the bouquet?" And she's like, "I'll pitch it." And I said, "I have a home for that if you are interested in sharing." And she's like, "Come and get it." So I got this huge box of long staple length cotton, and it came in a lot of different forms. Some of the bowls were still closed and they've opened up for me. So here is, and this is just so amazing. So when you take it out, you have this, and it's so long. It just opens up. It's so amazing. And just like with the Florida native cotton, there are, when you flip it over, there are a number of seeds. And so just like with the other, and these seeds have a tendency to stay a little bit furrier. As I was researching cotton, it just amazes me. This plant was designed, and these seeds, their function is just to be carried on the wind and to germinate someplace else. So all of the cotton fiber is basically a byproduct of what this plant needs to reproduce, which just absolutely amazes me. So once again, I'm clearing out the seeds. And the nice thing with the long staple length cotton, once I've cleared out the seeds, it's a little bit like spinning a lock. I could spin directly from this piece. So it would definitely be woolen. The fibers are all going tons and tons of different directions. So once I would clear these out, I went to my cards and I created rolags with these as well. So side by side, I have the Florida native cotton, and then I have the long staple length cotton as well. And so since cotton was my first foray into e-spinners, I thought it would be kind of a nice way to baptize the new electric eel 2. So you have no idea how much anxiety spinning cotton creates. I'm going to start with the long staple length because I'm pretty sure I'll have more success. I'm going to apologize right now if I use bad language. Cotton has such a short staple length. It is a challenge to spin, at least for me. Success! Right out of the box, cotton spinning with the Electric Eel Nano 2. Oh, there's a piece in there. All right, so I wanted to spin cotton because I wanted to show I have this going very slow. It's giving me the opportunity to see my drafting triangle, to get out, to pull out just the amount of fiber that I want. It's not being ripped out of my hands. I'm slowly feeding it into and onto the bobbin. And then as I build confidence, all right, so that is the long staple length. We'll switch to the short staple length. Oh, this is so short. All right, I'm going to have to speed up the twist. Cotton needs a lot of twists to stay together. And now I'm going to check to see if I'm putting enough twist in here. And turn it off. And that is what my yarn, my cotton yarn as a 2-ply will look like. And we'll go ahead and move my leader arm forward. Ooh. I have a crunchy bit in my cotton. I do believe I forgot to get part of a seed out. I'll deal with that later. So even an incredibly short staple length fiber I'm not talking because I'm concentrating. The eel does a superb job of getting enough twist in, and I really feel like I've got enough time to spend drafting out exactly the amount that I want to get the yarn that I want. Can even sort of long draw. Let it wind on. There we go. And this is what I am building cotton thread on the new Nano 2. I think that's probably one of the reasons why I enjoy this machine so much. It really enables me to focus on my spinning and to ensure that I'm getting the consistent, the weight, the style of yarn that I want. So there you have it. You kind of got two spotlights in one. You got the unboxing spotlight of the Electric Eel Nano 2, as well as a little bit of information on two different types of cotton, Florida native cotton, as well as a long staple length cotton from northern Arkansas. So with that being said, the website does have all of the Nano 2 and the EEW 6, as well as the yarn counter, are both available on the website right now. I will put the link in the description. This is, for those of you that are wondering if you are a new spinner, if this would be a good way to jump into using a spinning wheel. Absolutely, for two reasons. One, it has a great price point. Two, it allows you to slowly move into and move up to what some would say like that faster treadling. Now, the caveat to all of this, is this a production spinner? I suppose it could be. However, you have to remember, these little machines are not going to spin as fast as the bigger models. So just kind of keep that in mind. This is definitely a wheel designed to create small bobbins. You can certainly do a lot. The most that I typically do with these wheels is about 4 ounces at a time. Each bobbin holds roughly 1.5 to 2 ounces, but then I do the plying on a bigger wheel, either my treadle wheel or the EEW 6. So just something to keep in mind if you're planning on just using this wheel. The other thing that's kind of nice is the bobbins have marks in here, kind of the halfway mark. If you're going to be plying on this wheel, remember, only fill up your bobbin to about the halfway point, because when you ply it, you're going to be making a thicker, a bigger, and you're basically combining two singles into one, so you're going to fill up those bobbins more quickly. So hopefully you enjoyed the unboxing, my very first unboxing. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them. If you have any concerns, or if you just want to share your experiences with Dreaming Robots, please feel free to do so as well. I always enjoy reading the comments that you leave for me. As always, thank you so much for tuning in, and happy spinning.